Imagine, it's the year 1924, East Harlem, New York. The air is filled with the aroma of garlic, sofrito, and something frying in a small kitchen upstairs. Families from Puerto Rico, arriving with almost nothing, no money in their pockets, no English on their tongues, and often not even certainty of food for the whole week. But they had one strength that no one could take away: their food, their identity. And today, we're going to feel that very journey. 25 dishes, beginning with the plate that was set on their table every night. 1. Arroz blanco con habichuelas. Simple white rice, served with red beans slowly cooked in sofrito. That incredible blend of onions, garlic, peppers, and herbs, made daily in every small kitchen. This wasn't a side dish, this was the whole meal. The same plate, several times a week, cheap, filling, and tasting like someone was feeding you with love. Rice came from neighborhood shops, beans soaked overnight, and sofrito, the heart of every home. This wasn't just food for the poor, it was their dinner. After a long day's exhaustion, this became comfort. 2. Bacalao guisado. Salted cod, preserved for long journeys. First soaked to reduce the salt, then cooked with tomatoes, potatoes, garlic, and sofrito. The result, a thick, aromatic stew whose fragrance spread through the entire building. A flavor born out of hardship, one everyone wanted to taste again. 3. Mofongo. Today it may be considered special in restaurants, but back then, it was very simple. Green plantains were fried, then mashed with garlic and salt. That's it. No expensive add-ons, no decoration, just real flavor. Even the wooden mortar itself was precious. Every bite reminded them of home. This wasn't just about filling the stomach. It was a feeling. You belong here. Children learned by watching it being made, and years later, that same aroma would take them back in time. Because memories don't live only in the mind, but in the heart and taste. 4. Sopa de fideos. When someone fell sick or times were tough, this was made. Light soup, noodles, a little garlic, salt. Simple, but full of comfort. It wasn't made to impress, it was made to care. 5. Arroz con salchichas. Canned sausages cooked with rice, tomatoes, and sofrito, turned into something special. This was their celebration, whether a birthday, a new job, or just a good day. 6. Frijoles guisados. When there was no meat, beans became the star. Cooked slowly for hours, absorbing spices. The flavor was so deep, you didn't feel the absence of anything else. These recipes didn't live in books, they lived in hands across generations. 7. Plátanos maduros. Ripe plantains, slightly caramelized outside, soft and sweet inside. Cheap, yet enough to bring a smile. In hard times, a little sweetness becomes a big relief. 8. Viandas hervidas. Yuca, plantains, and root vegetables, oiled and served with salt and oil. Simple, but nourishing food that gave energy for a full day of labor. 9. Caldo de pollo. A little chicken, some vegetables, and water, cooked for hours into a soup that was shared equally among all. It wasn't the taste of wealth, it was the taste of belonging. 10. Tostones. Green plantains fried twice, crispy outside, soft inside. A snack and a side dish, and for children, a fun excuse to be part of the kitchen. 11. Arroz con bacalao. Rice cooked together with salted fish, each grain filled with flavor. It was skill, making more out of less. 12. Gandules guisados. Pigeon peas slow cooked and served with rice. Simple, reliable, the foundation of every kitchen. 13. Pan con café. Bread and coffee. On many nights, this became dinner. Cheap, warm, and just enough for a peaceful sleep. 14. Sancocho. A big stew. Whatever was available went into it. In East Harlem, a simpler version, but the same soul. This wasn't just food, it was a connection to their roots. 15. Rice and vegetables. Whatever was affordable was added and cooked. Every home had its own style. This was true creativity. 16. Pescado frito. Simple fried fish, but made the right way. Here, not money, skill mattered. 17. Arepas. Simple cornmeal patties, fried, crispy outside, soft inside. A tradition centuries old. 18. Arroz con leche. A rice and milk dessert, lighter, less sweet here, adapted to circumstances, yet still carrying the warmth of home. 19. Habichuelas blancas, white beans with garlic and oil, simple, but comforting. The aroma of garlic made it feel like home. These weren't just recipes, they were stories of life. Every plate held struggle, memories, and a hope that no matter the circumstances, taste and identity stay with you. 20. Plátano hervido con aceite. No frying, no heavy spices, just raw green plantains boiled in salted water until soft, then topped with a little olive oil and a pinch of salt. Perhaps the simplest way to prepare plantains. In East Harlem homes, it was made again and again, not out of preference, but necessity. Quick, cheap, and filling. Easy for a mother who had worked all day. Boiled plantains feel heavy, but they give long-lasting energy. No one wrote letters back to Puerto Rico saying they ate this again today, but no one slept hungry, and that was the greatest victory. Feeding the family every night, no matter the circumstances, was a matter of pride. This dish was never special, but it never failed them. And then came the next dish, bringing color, sweetness, and warmth, cheap, yet festive. 21. Pink pumpkin. The moment a piece fell into rice, everything changed. Caribbean pumpkin cooked with rice gave it a soft golden color and a gentle sweetness that enhanced the whole flavor. It looked different, smelled different, as if something special had been added, even if nothing expensive was used. Pumpkin was cheap, especially in season. And it also stretched the rice. Even a simple bowl felt special. But it wasn't just about filling the stomach. It was that color. Glowing yellow gold, lighting up a small home in cold February, when snow fell outside, and 5 children needed to be fed. When life feels heavy, a little beauty matters. And the mothers there understood that well. 22. Empanadas de masa. Half-moon-shaped dough, pressed at the edges, dropped into hot oil, emerging golden, puffed, and crispy. These Puerto Rican empanadas were made from cornmeal or flour, filled with whatever was available. Spiced potatoes, beans, leftover fish, or sometimes a little ground meat. Often, there was more dough than filling, crispy outside, warm, and balanced inside. Women made them in large batches and sold them from homes or on the streets. This is how they created income. Food was no longer just necessity. It became skill, identity. Even before restaurants, these women fed people with their hands and slowly built something bigger. 23. Sofrito rice base. Sometimes for weeks, real flavor came only from sofrito. Rice was cooked with its mixture, sofrito, water, salt, and whatever little was available. The light tang of tomatoes and the aroma of spices worked magic. It wasn't a royal dish, but it had warmth, belonging, and the honesty of effort. It felt like it was made from the heart. In East Harlem, making sofrito wasn't just cooking, it was tradition. Ají dulce peppers, recao, garlic, onions, the ingredients were the same, but every home had a different taste. Each family had its own identity, so distinct that neighbors could tell where food was being cooked just by the smell. These small differences became a home's identity. Now, batata hervida. Just a sweet potato, water, and salt. This Puerto Rican sweet potato was pale yellow and less sweet. Cut into large chunks, boiled until soft, then lightly salted and eaten. A favorite among children, a companion to after-school hunger. Held warm in the hand, eaten like fruit, it carried a strange comfort. When life felt uncertain, rent, work, cold, this small piece was enough. No feast, just simple, warm, honest food. And finally, agua de panela, the sweet drink that often ended these simple meals. Panela, raw sugarcane sugar, dissolved in hot water. Sometimes a few drops of lemon, sometimes a stick of cinnamon, filling the room with its aroma. Not as nourishing as milk, but sweet and comforting. Children drank it, adults too. When food was scarce, it made things feel a little more complete. On cold nights, before sleep, it was the last warm sip. After a long day, when the room was filled with the aroma of sofrito, plantains, and garlic, holding this sweet drink brought a different kind of peace. It wasn't just a drink. It was the feeling of home. A home built in an unfamiliar city. We began in 1924, in a small corner, where the air smelled of garlic and sofrito. Children ran through the streets, and food cooked on upper floors. Now you know the real story of that food. These 25 dishes weren't just food. They were identity, an effort to preserve their roots, feeding their children the same way their mothers had once fed them. Slowly, a cold and unfamiliar city began to feel like home. East Harlem, El Barrio, became a vibrant Puerto Rican community. It gave New York its flavor, its culture, its identity. And it all began in small kitchens on cold evenings with aromas drifting out of windows. These dishes were never fancy. No food critic wrote about them. But they kept a community alive, and that is what mattered most. Today, these flavors have spread across America, from restaurants to home kitchens, every plate carrying the story of its roots. Next time you taste mofongo, tostones, or arroz con gandules, wherever you are, pause for a moment and think where this journey began. Remember those small homes, where there was little, yet everything was made from it. Remember those mothers who stood by the stove late into the night, even after their children had fallen asleep. Remember those women who sold empanadas at street corners, carrying baskets to support their homes. This was their path, to live, to rise beyond struggle. They brought food with them, and in the end, that very food carried them forward.